a heart and lungs. So that's got both. Yep, these are lungs. That's a heart. Yeah, I know, I'm going to go through them with you in a tick.
Can I blow on it? Will it inflate?
Most of them.
What?
Yeah, it's a fair question to ask, that's dead right.
I can smell it now.
These ones,
Really? You couldn't smell it before?
No, really.
these ones here have normally, when they take them out of the teeth, they get nicked with a knife, just because they do it in a hurry, and so we have a pop balloon, so they don't work. The other ones have got some parts of lung attached, these ones here. This is the heart itself.
Yum.
So whoever does that dissection, you've got that plus a little bit of the lung, and also this is the windpipe. Okay? So there are 3 of them there that have got a heart with part of the lung and the windpipe attached, and they're the ones.
So weird.
I know, right?
Oh, the lung doesn't normally look that scungy.
I lock them out because they keep coming in and out, and now I'm getting fucked. Sorry, now
That's good. So with this one here, the lungs are normally a pink colour, more like that, all over, because these ones have been frozen and thawed. Okay, which is why they're not quite so good to play around with. But the lung itself is a fairly soft tissue. Okay, and it's got pipes that go through it. When we cut into it later on in a few seconds, you'll find that it's got sort of like little mini windpipes go right through it. So it wouldn't be very nice to eat because it'd be kind of. Yeah.
I'm having gloves.
Last, I'd like to say yes, but last period I had 2 bags of gloves.
Nice.
The last class grabbed them all.
Does it sound a bit disgusting if I say I like the smell?
Well, it's not bad. It's not good, but it's bad.
It makes me want
like a little balloon.
I need to eat.
Hello.
I want to eat some steak tonight because this is reminding me of steak.
Neil, please stop.
It does actually look like steak, doesn't
Can I
it?
get a pike? Can I get a pike? That'd be
And see, like when you eat steak, you know the juices, and that looks like the juices.
It does look like steak.
It does look like steak. It's just not the parts of the steak you really want to eat.
Why are you talking about steak, Neil? Or it's the wrong animal anyway.
Make a start. The first thing worth looking at is probably the windpipe. Sheep and us are pretty much the same in terms of our anatomy for these bits. So a bit like a vacuum, bit like a vacuum cleaner hose. There's rings around you. You can feel them in your own windpipe.
What's it made out of? Is it bone?
Cartilage, kind of like chicken bone kind of stuff. Okay. So front of your nose and the top of your ear, the same stuff. It's kind of like bone, but without the hard bit in it.
Smells kind of nice.
So, yeah, weird man. The lungs themselves, you've already had a quick look at them, but if we cut through into the lungs should normally be nice and pink, but these, as I say, have been, I don't know how long it had been between them being thawed and being,
It looks more like cake.
killed.
Yeah, that looks like cake.
Yeah.
How do you breathe if it's like that?
I have a conspiracy theory.
I won't ask you, okay? But going through them, you'll find in the lungs you'll get 2 things. One is a whole set of those little kind of mini windpipes that branch and branch and branch. And the other thing is small arteries and veins that go through it. So the part that you're looking for, if you're doing your dissection, is the main veins and arteries that go into the heart, because these are the bits that when you go to the butcher and get a heart, what they do is they slice it off there, okay? They cut it off at about that level, because the bit that you eat if you eat heart is the muscle bit at the bottom, not all the stringy bits at the top. So if you go to the butcher, you don't get all those top arteries and veins, which you're going to do it from a biology point of view, you need. Anyway, there's one of the 2 lungs. So when you get your one, if you poke it in, I won't let it flop around too much, don't worry.
If it slaps me, I can't control what's going to happen next. Seriously.
Okay, the ones that you've got, you won't have to do this because most of it's already gone. But if I can... Okay, so if I cut this away,
Because it smells like death.
How would you know what death smells like?
Because I've killed a creature before. Killed a fish.
yeah, the lung would look a bit like
And I
that.
ripped its guts out.
The blob.
Yeah, well, Caleb,
Weird, man.
wait, Caleb, what was that story with the still beating fish heart?
Oh yeah, so a guy I knew ate a beating fish heart. It was very, it was a lot of fun.
Wasn't for the fish.
Don't watch them, Maya.
No. But he had freshly caught it, the heart was still beating and he ate it. Yeah.
Okay, now I've removed the lungs from the heart itself. Well, I left a few bits there, but that's the lungs with the. You can see how the main. You get bronchitis. Your main one's the trachea. When it branches in two, one for each lung, they're called bronchi. So there's one and there's one on the other side, and then it breaks down into smaller and smaller holes. Little kind of tubes. You can have a look inside. I'll leave it there. You can have a look in it later. Now we've got the heart more or less intact.
There's more blood in it.
Yeah, it'll leak. There's a wee bit inside, but you might notice that the heart itself is in its own kind of plastic bag. It's called a pericardium, and it's designed so that when it moves around inside your chest, when it pumps, that it's got slipperiness because there's liquid underneath, and so the heart itself doesn't get rubbed. It's because you can see that that's what that is for. It's just to save the heart itself being rubbed, because if it gets rubbed, it'll eventually adhere to your rib cage and won't work. So you've got to have it in a bag full of liquid that enables it to slip round. So when you go to do your dissection, you can cut through that. And so now the heart itself has been pulled out and it's now free. So what we're doing now...
And does it taste like chicken? I want to see.
It does a wee bit, some of these bits, I grant you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut through this one, which is one of the arteries.
Archery is massive.
Arteries are pretty thick, okay? So there's one there, quite thick-walled. You'll be able to do this for yourself in a couple of minutes. Yeah, sorry about that. It's kind of like meat, but this stuff's been in the deep freeze and been thawed overnight in the fridge. So,
When can we dissect them?
well, as soon as I've gone through, I want to show you what to do, and then you can do it yourself.
I want to dissect them with gloves.
I unfortunately haven't got any gloves anymore. You can blame the other class for that. I gave them one bag and then they came up and helped themselves to the other
I'd be
one.
thanking them. This is fun.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm not touching that without gloves.
I don't know. This is the best
You
view.
don't have to. I'm not going to make people
And
do
I'm
it.
the only one who actually wants to dissect the heart.
I
Right
do it now.
Oh, right. Okay, well, if I had some gloves, I'd give them to you. Okay, here we are now. Now the top chambers of the heart that I've been calling atria, the old name for them was auricle, which meant ears, and they look kind of like earlobes.
Cool.
Okay, that bit there, another one on the other side. That's why in old books you'll find them called auricles, because auricle means ear. So that's the bits, they look like little earlobes flapping around. So they're the top chambers, they're quite small, and these are the arteries. There's two arteries that come out side by side. Aorta is one, and the pulmonary artery is the other, one to the lungs, one to the body. The ones that drain back into your body,
I'll say it if
the ones that drain back into your heart from your body, the veins that go back in, the vena cava, are these ones here. They're quite thin-walled by comparison. Okay, one for the left, one for the right. When you come to do your dissection, the last bit before you start cutting through is to look at the outside of your heart, and you find these bits with lots of fat and little veins going through them, arteries. They're the coronary arteries. And if you remember that picture I showed you of my x-ray of my heart when I had a heart attack, one of those got blocked. Okay? So where there was an artery came to a join and part of it went off, that got blocked there, and so a whole part of my heart was going without its own blood supply for a while, so it kind of died. Well, I was kind of lucky because I got back in time for it kind of heal itself, but that's what would have happened if I hadn't gone to hospital and had it opened up. So, coronary arteries. Now when you come to go into the heart, look for the thinner of the two. It won't really matter which one it is, but you're going to cut down through the artery itself. Okay, you're going inside the heart now, and if you want to see inside, you'll have to.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Okay, you'll find
Ooh, we're turning the heart inside out now.
Oh, that's what I did.
okay,
Inside the heart.
Crushed it, there's a difference.
No,
No, but then he pulled it outside out.
crush it, then turn it inside out.
Is it gonna drip?
Oh, I
might
want to
do a
see
wee
the.
bit, but
I want to see like
not-
blood,
not
like pooling inside.
too much. Well, you won't, mate, because it's all gone.
Oh.
Okay. Now, if you have a look at that one, it's quite a thick, muscly wall. Okay. That thick, muscly wall tells me it's the left-hand side of the heart. That's the one that pumps around your body. If you're looking for the things called valves that you so dutifully drew in that the other day, this one here looks like a little sort of, not exactly a cup, but no, only got two hands, but I think I can hold it open. These like sort of little, if you can see what I'm doing there, getting the scissors underneath. Those little sort of cup-like things around the side are the valves for the aorta. What happens is when blood gets pumped out, it goes up. When it tries to come back down, it gets caught by those little cups, and there are three of them, and they all go flump together and block it.
Those are tiny.
Yeah, they aren't all that big. Yeah,
Finished.
yeah, and you'll be able to find other ones as we get further in. So that's the thick side of the heart. Inside the heart is